answer some questions. How did she die is the most common one. We don't know. Beth was ill before she got to Turkey. She started being sick on the plane. We thought maybe it was like a dodgy Chinese, because I had Chinese before. No one else was unwell, but that's just what Luke thought. And you know, when I heard she was unwell, I thought sounded like food poisoning. The hospital, the medical reports from Istanbul rule out food poisoning. They said it is not food poisoning. That is a very specific thing that they've said in the medical report, and to us it is not food poisoning. So we don't know how she died. She had an autopsy done in Istanbul, and then another one done with the forensic pathologist. So basically we don't get that report for about 6 months from Istanbul, because they had to send off tissue samples and everything else. 3 weeks ago, my very good friend Beth and Luke went to Turkey with their 2 children. And practically 24 hours later, Beth had died. There have been so many things that have gone wrong. So much negligence, so much corruption between the hospitals, the police, the prosecution. And then we find out, even after I gave explicit consent, as did Luke, that they do not touch any of her organs. We find out when we get her back to the UK that they have stolen her heart, which is very odd because they claimed that the reason why, a possible reason why she could have died was that she had a heart problem. I mean, she didn't, but that's what they claimed. If I was to tell you the shit that has been going on the last 3 weeks, you wouldn't believe me. If I could explain the state of the hospital, the lack of empathy. We got to see Beth for 20 seconds, no, maybe a bit more than 30 seconds, in the morgue. And then the guy went, "Come on," and handed us a corner of the body bag that was zipped open with Beth. And me, Beth's mum, Luke, and a translator had to lift her body into a coffin and then walk the coffin down the hallway for about an hour while they waited for transport. So it's just Beth and us in this coffin in the middle of a really busy, run-down corridor where people were laughing and joking and passing by, and they were just tapping her coffin, and like there wasn't an amazing woman inside that. They paid her no respect at all. She had no dignity over there. They wouldn't let anyone see her for hours and hours and hours. They were hiding stuff. They were visibly hiding things, and even if I had no facts at all, I could feel that they were lying. Luke got questioned by the prosecution over there because the hospital told him that it could be poisoning, and obviously Luke was the prime suspect. So I got out there and I was with him and his brother, and the prosecution came up, who were basically higher than the police. The prosecutor quizzed Luke in the back of a van. He sat in a van, we just stood outside the van whilst they were grilling him through translation, broken translation. Basically wanting to know if he killed his wife.